Sup, everybody? It's D's where I got another reaction. I'm about to react some more about, Trump. He's gonna run again, 2024. So I'm gonna see what they're gonna be talking about right now, because inside this podcast, they have some pretty good, interesting, and some actually they know what they're talking about most of the time. Not like some other ones, they just talk about feelings and stuff, man. But they talk about good and bad all the time. So let's check it out. Let's see if it's legit. So anybody in here that's gonna go for Trump, I don't know if you don't want to, it's good. But if you are putting up like, do you think he was a good president, a bad president, or what? What do you think? All right. But anyways, let's check it out now. 3, 2, go.
Of President Trump that just came out, and I'm sure you've seen it. And there's a response from the president as well. If you want to play this is what everybody, CNN, everyone's playing, saying this is it. It's the end of it. After this, he shouldn't be qualified to run. If you want to go ahead and play this, and then we'll show his response.
Bad, sick people.
That was your coup, against you.
It started right at the
like
beginning.
when Millie's talking about, you were going to try to do a coup. No, they were trying to do that before you even were sworn in.
That's right.
Trying to overthrow your election.
Well, with Millie, let me see that. I'll show you an example. He said that I wanted to attack Iran. Isn't it amazing? I have a big pile of papers. This thing just came up. Look. This was him. They presented me this. This is off the record, but they presented me this. This was him. This was the Defense Department and him. Wow. We looked at some. This was him. This wasn't done by me. This was him. All sorts of stuff.
Who's recording
Pages
this,
long.
Rob?
Look.
Keep playing it. Keep playing it.
Wait a minute. Let's see here. Look at that.
Yeah.
I just found. Isn't that amazing? This totally wins my case, Except it is like highly confidential, secret. This is secret information. But look at this. You attack, and
Hillary would print that out all the time,
she'd send
Private
it.
email.
No, she'd send it to Anthony Weiner, the pervert.
Please print.
By the way, isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
I was just saying because we were talking about it, and he said he wanted to attack Iran and what. These are the
You
papers.
did. It's pretty
This was done by the military, given to me. I think we can probably, right?
I don't know. We'll have to see. Yeah, we'll have to try to
Declassify.
figure out
it. See, as president, I could have declassified it. Now I can't, but this is classified.
now we have a problem.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
It's so cool. I mean, it's so, we here and I have,
Can you pause this, Rob?
you-
So who's
Okay. So I'm just putting them all together in my head.
recording this?
According to CNN, the audio recording comes from a July 2021 interview Trump gave at his Bedminster Resort for people working on a memoir for Mark Meadows, Trump's former chief of staff.
Okay, so go to who's that lady? Who is that lady? Is that one of his staffers?
It says here in the article that the people present, a writer, publisher, and 2 of Trump's staff members.
2 of Trump's staff members.
Yes.
Okay, so now go to Trump's response on what he says about this on Truth Social. So the deranged special prosecutor Jack Smith, working in conjunction with the DOJ and FBI, illegally leaked and spun a tape and transcript of me, which is actually an exoneration rather than what they would have you believe. This continuing witch hunt is another election interference scam. They are cheaters and thugs. So when you see this recording and you see, him talking about Millie and where he's at and Hillary and all this other stuff, how do you process this when you see this recording that the media is using to make sure he can no longer compete for 2024?
Well, the first thing that I think
Interesting.
is that President Trump is not unlike most of his predecessors in that many of the papers that they took with them when they left office were not necessarily carefully vetted, registered, declassified, whatever. I think we've, over the years, become very relaxed in that area. Secondly, I think we classify too much. That's certainly true. And it's unfortunate that they're trying very, very hard to pin some sort of criminal action on him, which is, of course, absurd. Now, his point is effectively true. Milley and others came across, along with Bolton and, as I recollect, the former Secretary of State, who was Pompeo, who said he wanted to run for president, then bowed out. They were all advocates for war with Iran. And you have to look at least with Bolton and Pompeo, who their quote-unquote donors are, where their money comes from. They wanted war with Iran. Milley, I'm not sure he was a strong advocate for it. I have no idea. But he certainly wasn't going to stand in the way. We know that McKenzie, who was down in U.S. Central Command, apparently his fingerprints are all over this Global Hawk unmanned aerial vehicle that was shot down. It was plotted to follow the edge of the Air Defense Identification Zone, which under international law says that any military aircraft that violates that zone is liable to be shot down unless it identifies itself, explains its position, and so forth. Of course, we didn't do that. So in a court of law, the Iranians, international law, would have won the case. At the time, no one could say, what happens if we go to war with Iran? The idea was we got to go to war with Iran. It was similar to the Wolfowitz, Rumsfeld, Cheney cabal that took us into Iraq. The purpose is to get us into Iraq. Then we'll figure it out. Very similar to things that were said in 1965 and 66 about Vietnam. Well, what are we going to do there? We got to get in there. Let's get in there. We'll sort through that. We'll, quote unquote, muddle through. You never muddle through. You have to know what the purpose is. You have to know how you're going to achieve that purpose, and then you have to have a vision for what you want it to look like at the end. We call that purpose, method, end state. Donald Trump, as president of the United States, prevented war with Iran because he asked, first of all, what happens after?
Well, wasn't there like a couple other stuff at the time when he's the president? It was that. It was also, was it like military? I mean, the Middle East, those ones right there, and it was a couple of stuff he did too. People don't really talk about it though, or think about it. People just always hating, you know.
We launch all of these strikes.
Because you could say everything like that. I mean, you know, people don't want the information, or they want him to lose. The way that I'm seeing, like people that don't listen what he's saying, they want him to lose. And it's just like, come on. You're just on one side, man.
What happens? Now, he said at the time, I was concerned about the loss of human life in Iran, which is legitimate, especially since we did not lose any human life.
And it's so crazy, though, people talking about all that stuff. You have, like, Joe Biden, too. But, like, wasn't his best friends or a friend of his, that dude was a KKK, and he was, like, on the top of it. And people, when they came over there, they're saying, oh, he's not, though, but he is. And people don't want to even know, like, even went to his funeral. So, dude, like, always gonna find something. See if you got all those kind of stuff with everybody else. Barack Obama, you're gonna find little things, multiple stuff he did. People don't want to talk about it. Talk about Joe Biden from these last 40 years he did. There's a lot of dirty stuff he did, a lot, but people don't want to listen about it. And you see just that 4 years that Trump did, people just wanted to be negative the whole time that don't listen. They just listen to the news, fake news most of the time. I mean, like I'm going to say sometimes, maybe here and there he may some of you have a disagreement, but sometimes you can't go up against people's feelings because feelings doesn't do anything like that. Sticks and stones will break my bones. You know when you hear that little kid? People, it's all about feelings now.
What we did is we lost an unmanned aerial vehicle, which he did not think rose to the threshold that justified war with Iran. And of course, he was right. But it was also a question of, okay, we launch all these strikes, then what? And you have a lot of people in Washington that
What?
just want to start something and then convince themselves they can drag us in and that somehow or another the military will make it work. That happened to us in Vietnam. It happened to us in Iraq. It happened to us in Afghanistan. It happened to us in Libya. It's happening right now in an attempt to bring us into some sort of confrontation with the Russians over Ukraine. And there's no serious thinking about what are the implications. Iran is an enormous country. It's almost the size of Western Europe. It has a large population. Let's assume that you can destroy Iran. All right, let's just assume you can destroy it with enough weapons. They can't stand up to us with their air defense networks or anything else.
Okay.
So let's assume you're right. We destroy them. What do these people do? Well, they leave. They begin to pour into surrounding countries because there's nothing for them to eat. There's no water to drink. If you destroy Iran, what's the impact strategically on the region? Is there anybody there who benefits from it? Well, a lot of people seem to think the Turks would. Mr. Erdogan would then emerge as the preeminent power in the region because Iran's really his principal rival.
Interesting. Yeah.
So why would you do that? Does that make sense? Doesn't make a lot of sense. These are the discussions the British and American general staffs behind the scenes had during World War II. You want us to destroy Germany. Then what? Who supplants Germany? The Soviet Union. Is that our goal? Do you understand what I'm saying?
I'm following.
Trump did a good thing. He said, no, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to support it. And of course, donors everywhere were very unhappy because they donated prolifically to that administration in the hopes of bringing on a war with Iran. Remember, I think it was Podhoretz who said every morning I get up and pray that we go to war with Iran. And he was advising John McCain, and McCain was an advocate for going to war with Iran. McCain was in Kiev saying, we'll fight the Russians, we'll stand by you. This is before he passed away. I mean, this is lunacy. What is happening? Who is in charge? The American people don't know what war means. I've seen a country devastated by war. I've seen more than one. They don't understand that we are no longer in a position of splendid isolation where we can destroy other people's homes without risking the same here. When you start dealing with the Russians and the Chinese, all sorts of potentially bad things can happen. If you think Mexico is our friend, I've news for you. The Mexicans have always sided with whomever was against the United States. So is Venezuela and so is Cuba. Now,
Man, I went to the cruise right here, and they're talking about, I was right there in the flea market, and man, they had so many t-shirts right there saying Donald Trump, all that kind of, so many things about it. I'm like, damn, Mexican people, I hate that dude. Hate him. Oh,
you really want to go to war with these people? And then
just because he told them that they have to pay their own on the border and all that kind of stuff.
have a second front in the Caribbean, in Latin America? Do you want to be dragged into that? No one is thinking. There is no strategic thought. And no one is thinking about the American people. What's in the interest of the American people? You know what's in the interest of the American people? Build prosperity. Recover this economy. Repatriate jobs. Get control of the border. Stop the influx of labor that we can't employ. And if we believe the AI fanatics who are telling us that by 2040 or something, 80% of all the current low-skilled jobs will be replaced by AI, what are we bringing most of these people in to do? It's insane. Doesn't make any sense. So who's thinking about the United States, American society? Nobody.
Do you think this can be used to eliminate him as a candidate, or it still doesn't do anything? Like they're using everything
Well, they've been doing it for the last 6 years, 7 years.
possible to
Maybe,
eliminate him.
yeah,
Do you
something like that
think?
anyways.
Yesterday I tweeted something, Rob. If you
6
can go to
years.
Twitter, this is just something I tweeted yesterday, and it got some people that were some were upset, some were curious, and some were like, why the hell would you even put this out there? So go in and zoom in right there, that one right there, if we can make it bigger. Okay, 2024 strategy to have Newsom replace Biden.
All right, let's see.
Okay, step number 1. Have Newsom go around defending Biden, selling Biden's record. Shows loyalty. Step number 2. Have him constantly attack DeSantis.
Oh, snap. Oh, man, right when it got interesting. Man, to be real, I'm about to cut this right here from right there, though, but if you guys give me some more follows, everybody, thumbs up and all that, I'll see the last, what is it, about 8 minutes or 7-8 minutes, yeah, right there. So tell me what you think about what they're saying right here, man. Everything, it's all in my head. I'm just thinking about it in my head right now. And you think it's just another one they're doing it, trying to make it look bad, or what? What do you think? Because it happens all the time, man, all the time. It's like you know, everybody else, and you got like Hillary Clinton, Clinton, and she did heck of stuff, and people don't even talk about it. And then you see Barack, and you have Biden. Everything they do, some dirty stuff. People don't talk about it. You see the vice president? Her stuff. Some stuff she does, man. She's like not even that smart. And I don't think so. People don't talk about it. I mean, the smart people be like, oh man, she's not. I don't know. She's not that smart. But everybody else right here, they just always trying to find something new. New this, new that. So tell me what you guys think about this. Alright, so give me some little more education and everything else that you see about this. Do you think it's just another scandal, or do you think it's for real? Alright. Like, subscribe, show love, and hit me on the comments right now. I like that stuff. I watch it all the time and all that, man. You guys been doing it the last week or two. Yeah, like 2 weeks. And thank you, everybody. Thank you for all that. For sure, yeah. Alright, next time. Peace.